You know, Sean, sometimes they say that good things come in small packages.
Today we're going to be reviewing the Book of Tiny Heroes.
Welcome to the Homebrew Crew. I'm Tony, this is Sean, and today we're going over the Book of Tiny Heroes by Oliver Clegg.
Yeah, so it's basically a collection of new races that you can add to your campaign, and I know what you're saying already. I thought Homebrew Crew doesn't review animal plus humanoid races.
No, this is completely different. This is animal plus tiny race.
Yes, or even small, or there's like one or two medium in there. But the cool thing is that they're actually really interesting, and it kind of goes to show how you can take a very already kind of overused topic and really take a nice spin on it.
Yeah, and this one kind of focuses on them being small, so it's I personally feel that this is something different.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy this. So I'm not going to be able to do it any justice whatsoever. So let's just get into it. We're going to show you 3 of the races in this book. And here we are down here in the corner again. Say hi, Sean. Okay, so this is the Book of Tiny Heroes, and as you can see, these things are not only adorable, but they are also deadly.
They look quite vicious. I mean, when you have a penguin with a gun, a crocodile with armor, and what seems to be a very technified turtle, it's a very threatening package. So
it is. Now I'm going to let you move us through here.
Yeah, of course.
And the first one we're going to look at is the Vulpine.
Oh, I absolutely love this one. I just finished playing Ghost of Tsushima, and you can constantly pet all the foxes, and they're so helpful. And the Vulpine are actually a really very interesting take on a vixen kind of subrace.
I really like this one, not just because of the look of this. I mean, obviously, look at this thing. This is just
underwear
adorable.
Has never looked more glorified, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a diaper, but that's fine. But it is kind of a cool thing. They get and something I noticed about all of the races in here is they have a very short walk speed.
Yeah, so a lot of the creatures, especially if they end up being tiny, you're going to see like walk speeds of 20 feet, and later in this video, there's a creature that can only walk 5 feet. But anyways, the Vulpine are really cool. They kind of have this feature where they can essentially absorb emotion, and like they're like the emotion master kind of.
Yeah,
and describe it.
One of these things in here, obviously they get something called sublime form here, where they don't need to eat or drink in order to survive. But this is kind of what you're talking about here, this emotional siphon, right?
Yeah, it's a really cool feature. Basically, within 10 feet of where you're at, you can target a creature, and you can actually remove the frightened and charmed condition from them. And if you do that, you actually gain temporary hit points equal to your level.
I know, it's right. I think it's freaking cool. I mean, I'm stuttering. It's so awesome, right?
Yeah, and there's a good example as to when you're wording things in your supplements is very important. I love reading the room because it's just proficiency with the insight skill, but I think that's a fantastic way to call it proficiency with insight.
And again, this makes so much sense with how the theme of the character is. And we talked about that in our previous video with it, right? But you get this telepathic communication, but the thing I like about this is that you can communicate emotions. Yeah. You're not speaking to people, you're just communicating emotions within to a creature within 30 feet of you.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting race if you decide to kind of role play this, because it's a very interesting take on, kind of interacting with NPCs and other players, because you're really kind of diving into not necessarily what they're thinking, but when you're thinking about how another character feels, it's kind of like a really different aspect of when you're interacting with other people.
Yeah, what do you think it would be like to just be standing there and all of a sudden know that something is sad nearby?
Kind of awkward probably initially, but then the great thing is it does open up a lot of opportunity for some roleplay. And again, the Vulpine, really cool one. So,
yeah, I think this is awesome. Now let's get into our next one.
Oh, this one, you love this one.
Yes, the SEO Trots.
SEO Trots, yes.
Now with the SEO Trots on this, and I'm going to give bonus points to anyone who can tell me where that actually comes from.
Oh.
We'll put it down in the comments below. Maybe I'll send you guys something. Maybe you know what? I'm feeling generous. We're going to send you a copy of this.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah. The first person who mentions where SEO Trots comes from, we'll go from there.
Oh boy, all of our trivia people are digging already.
Now, these are kind of your Tinker Turtles.
Basically, honestly, it's a really interesting combination. You get this tinkering of like what you would see maybe in a gnome, and then obviously the physical traits of something we would see in like a turtle, but it's not really trying to be both at the same time. Again, another tiny creature, so we're looking at a speed of 20 feet.
Right.
Intelligence +2, wisdom +1, so obviously high in the mental skills. But the interesting thing are these two features over here. You get Tinker's Eye, so you actually get proficiency with the Arcana skill and double proficiency to the check if it's related to magical devices. So again, this would be a great artificer, actually.
It totally would.
Oh man, this would be awesome.
And the fact that you have hidden tools, literally you're taking tools and you're hiding them in your shell.
Right, like kind of like fast hands, like yeah.
It's kind of neat to be able to have those tools always at the ready with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I really like about this is the augmentations.
Yeah, the augmentations is really what kinds of sets this kind of different race from the other ones, because you can actually add these mechanical improvements to yourself, and they do a lot of different things. You actually get to pick 2 out of these different ones, and there's a couple. I mean, honestly, if you haven't seen the photo already, the wheels is a very popular option because it's going to double your speed to 40.
Absolutely. I personally like the shell parachute though.
Oh, it's adorable.
No falling damage with it, and that I could just see that shell just kind of like, and you're just kind of drifting down.
Exactly.
But they've got things in here like solar panels. The arm weapon is cool too.
Yeah, they have like the bionic eyes to get that proficiency or investigation skill bonus. So yeah,
they are a very, very cool race. I love this one. Now this next one is going to be surprising.
Oh yes,
this is the tiniest creature out of all of them.
It is, and they scared me a little bit. I'm going to be completely honest. When I first opened it, I was a little taken aback. But these are crickets, and I know what you're thinking. I thought we're not playing Starfinder anymore. But no, it is actually one of the races that you can pick in here. Yeah, again, the tiniest one. I mean, still category tiny.
It doesn't look like it's the tiniest one the way the artwork is.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But it totally is the tiniest one. It is actually tiny.
Yeah, right. And it's a really interesting kind of makeup to the design of this one, because first of all, you get a Dex +4, which is pretty crazy. But then you're ending up with a speed of 5 walking.
Yeah, you're not moving very fast.
At least not when you're walking.
Right, but then you get that standing leap.
Yeah, so the standing leap is kind of, again, as a cricket would do, you get that 30 feet long jump and the 15 feet high jump with or without a running start. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people either confuse the running mechanics or they don't, jump at all. So it's actually really interesting to kind of see that as a racial feature. You're probably going to be jumping more than walking during your sessions.
It actually makes a lot of sense, and I really love how they took the cricket itself and just kind of pulled it into the theme with this. I could just see bouncing from here to here to here to here.
Right, yeah. It's a great combat skill, great technical skill. But the one thing that is kind of important to note, and this kind of goes more into story and theme and stuff, but this cricket, they don't live very long. They only get about a year lifespan.
It's a shame.
It's very sad.
But it also adds into your stuff that you can play as your character, right?
Yeah.
Because at this point, like, I would play this just kind of a YOLO kind of character.
Oh, absolutely, right.
Just jumping off a thing,
right?
Just kind of like, I only have a year to live. So
I would imagine when you get to that 9.5 month point, you're like, oh my god, the regrets. So it's a really interesting kind of race to
Listen
play.
Here, sir, I'm 6 months old. You're not going to tell me what to do.
I'm halfway through my age.
But do you also, with that too, you get a stealth proficiency, which is really cool, which makes sense because you're super teeny tiny.
Yeah. And you get this minuscule feature, which can be pretty useful. We've kind of seen this before in other homebrew races that deal with tiny creatures.
Right.
When it comes to like hiding behind other larger creatures, using them as covers, sharing the same space. But it also includes a thing where you can only use light or finesse weapons, and the weapons deal 1 less damage die because it's like a toothpick.
Right, and you can end your turn in another creature's space.
Which is pretty major. That's actually a really neat combat mechanic if you kind of know how to manipulate the game rules. So again, really, really cool one. It's a little different from the other ones that you'll see in here for sure, but a really great addition.
I actually kind of wonder how many different things have the light mechanic to them.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, with that dealing 1 die less on it, can be kind of interesting. You can't really use a dagger, can you?
Actually, there's a good amount of weapons you might not be able to use.
I think you get 1.
Hopefully it's minimum 1.
But I really, really love the theme of this. In fact, there are so many other ones in here that I wanted to bring up, but we couldn't. Definitely check this one out. Now, once again, this is the Book of Tiny Heroes, and you definitely, guys, you have to check this one out. You can get it on DMSGUILD. Just search for Tiny Heroes. It comes up.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it. But the one thing that I do want to say about this supplement is that it takes, again, a very kind of popular, a little bit overused mechanic, and kind of goes to show how you can make a couple changes and take a little twist on it to make it very original. And that's kind of something you should always be looking out for when you're making homebrew content.
I want a book of huge heroes next.
I'm sure that'll be the sequel, so I'm very excited.
That's cool. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our Patreons that are supporting us over it's been 2 years now.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy,
yeah,
right?
I know.
But definitely, if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, go on over to our Patreon page. You can find that on our main YouTube site, I guess. So like when you first log in, it's right there in the top right.
Yes, and speaking of YouTube, if you do want to make sure that you get all these awesome reviews on more homebrew races, monsters, items, and even some homebrew help, be sure to subscribe down below. If you hit the bell, you're actually going to get a notification as soon as we get a new video up.
And remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed. So until next time,
keep brewing.